Hold up. I want to break this down today because Tyrus Thomas, former NBA hooper, LSU Tigers standout, and ex-Chicago Bulls player, is speaking out. And listen to this. He's dropping real truth about youth basketball, college hoops, and what parents and young players need to understand about real development and growth in the game. Now, I've touched on this before. You won't believe this. Guys like Shawn Marion, The Matrix, have already been sounding the alarm, and even David West came through with a deep breakdown on AAU culture, exposing where things are really going wrong. But here's the part people overlook. Tyrus Thomas is actually out here in the field doing camps for kids in the community, and trust me, I'm gonna throw that up on the screen, but if you're serious, go check out his IG page for all the details. It's simple. Just search his name, that's his handle, but listen, don't just scroll past it, tap in and really see what he's building. Now let's get into these clips, because what he's about to say, yeah, this.
If your child fails Algebra 1 for the year, does it make sense to pay for them to go to summer school and explore Algebra 2? Or does it make sense to get them a tutor for Algebra 1? And the reason why I throw that out there is because it's the same with basketball. If your child is not dominating where they are, does it make sense to pay for them to travel to see what's out there? Or does it make more sense to invest in your development for where you are right now so you can grow and then get the move out, right? And so when I speak about elite teams, they show up and play. So if you're paying to show up and play, that's not it, right? Now, if you're a kid, there's a lot of great programs that people pay for, but those are called developmental teams. Why? Because they practice 2 and 3 and 4 times a week, and the coaches are intentional about each kid, and they don't have 15 kids on a roster, and it's development. So y'all just gotta do a better job of understanding what y'all are into and what y'all up against. Hey, what's happening, people? We live in a world, in a sport world, where individual training is glorified and idolized. And it's cool, it's okay. But trainers, parents, make sure that your kids are preparing for real basketball. In all of these training sessions I've been watching as of late, you know, it looks good, it's cool, wow, ooh, nice move. But you training as if there's gonna be a one-on-one game and it's not gonna be help side defense, right? So we gotta make this training realistic. So even when we talk about investing in development, invest in somebody that can develop your child holistically for the whole game, not just to be a primary ball handler, a dominant scorer. Because in real basketball, if you have to take 6, 7 dribbles and stay on the ball, it's not realistic. Hey, what's happening, people? A lot of y'all are focused on this when y'all should be focused on this. And I'm trying to break down the difference. See, if you are really this and you playing on a sponsor team and you just show up to play, you shouldn't be paying that money. Now, if you are on a developmental team and y'all are practicing and y'all are training and y'all are playing locally, then you're gonna pay that money. But don't be so in a hurry to be over here and where it's sponsored at, but you foolish because you paying that money to just show up and play. Hey, what's happening, people? So, basketball scholarships come in all shapes and sizes, not just this D1 that we have, right? So you got NAIA, D3, D2. But in order to reach those, you have to properly prepare. See, a lot of people think it's just about skill. To get lower level scholarships, you actually have to have more things in place. Like, you got to be intentional with your grades in the class that you're taking. And you still also have to be good in basketball. So again, for my serious parents, for hoopers that's class of 2028, 2029, 2030, you guys should definitely take a look at my developmental blueprint. And with that, we're gonna just run down a full game plan for like the next 2 or 3 years in order to put your child in the best situation to obtain that college scholarship that they're looking for. Hey, what's up, people? I'm really doing my best to help the folk. And so what I'm starting to see is a lot of parents just really don't understand. So I'm gonna tell y'all what y'all need to look for in these coaches. If your kid is under 13U, y'all need to be looking for teams that's practicing 2 to 3 times a week. Unless your kid is just head and shoulders above everybody in their age group under 13, right? As you get into the high school, now you need to be looking for a little bit of exposure in the sense of traveling to be where some coaches are. But if your development is not ready, if you're not dominating, you still need to be focused on development. So when you're looking for, make sure that these coaches are practicing. And when they're practicing, they're not just practicing to win games, but they're practicing, training, and developing your child to be the best that they can be. Hey, what's happening, people? When it comes to youth sports, I think people have to understand it's okay if your child really, really loves it, and it's okay if they just going through the motions and being a kid. And I think a lot of times kids really just want to go through the motions and be a kid, but as parents, we can force the issue. And so you'll ask, well, how do I know if my kid really loves it if they're just going through the motion? Fall back. Fall back and see how much they bug you about training. Fall back and see how much they bug you about development. Fall back and see how much they bug you about getting better, right? And if they do, that means they probably really love it and you should put more energy and effort into it. And if they don't, it's okay, they just going through the motion, but now you know where to place them and not to spend as much time. Hey, what's happening, people? So as I continue to try to explain better and even get a better understanding for why people have so much confusion in the recruitment process, I think one is because of a lack of exposure. And that lack of exposure to, what I mean by lack of exposure, the lack of exposure to what colleges are really out there. So while Division I makes up right at 20% of collegiate sports, 100% of kids feel like, or close to 100, feel like that they're Division I material. So, in all honesty, your most realistic option, or the most realistic option for most kids, has become treated as if it's the worst case possible, right? So the most realistic for most kids is NAIA D2, D3. But now in today's society, we treat that as if it is the worst case possible. Hey, what's happening, people? So in March Madness, I saw a lot of players that, I saw a lot of players on P4 teams that got limited action this tournament and this season, yet they probably would have been Conference Player of the Year had they stayed where they were, at least first team all conference where they were. And so although I know they got the money, they probably could have got a little less where they were, played, dominated, and now had the ability to go to a P5 and be the man, a P4 and be the man. And so sometimes we gotta wait our turn. And this is what I mean by development. So you leave the spot that you could dominate it to go to a spot that you're gonna struggle to play. And also, that's just when it separates those who love the game from those who just doing it to get something. And it's okay to be either, but you gotta
Listen to this. Tyrus Thomas really laid out the entire blueprint for development, breaking it down step by step from youth basketball all the way to the college level. And hold up, he called out how players are chasing quick money instead of putting themselves in the best situations to actually grow. Now here's the real talk. You won't believe this. Some players do grab that bag to change their family situation, and I respect that, because for some, it's about survival, getting loved ones out of tough environments and taking that risk on themselves. But at the same time, let's be honest, that short-term decision can slow down your long-term ceiling and what you could truly become as a player if development gets sacrificed. He also went in on these shoe circuits, and listen closely because this part matters. There's levels to it, and if you're not on the top tier, you're really just traveling for the image, not competing where the real talent is. And hold up, I've seen it myself. Players think being on a circuit means they made it, but if you're not facing elite competition, what are you really gaining? He even brought up examples like Tyrese Halliburton, who didn't come up through some big-name AAU powerhouse, and that tells you everything about how development beats hype. Back then, a lot of these top players weren't on stacked teams. They were just grinding, improving day by day until they finally got their shot.
And when that moment came, listen to this, that's when they shocked scouts, stepping into big matchups and stealing the spotlight from the so-called stars. So what I'm saying is simple. If you're not ready yet, don't rush it, because a lot of these 3, 4, even 5-star players already have the platform, but development is what separates you. And trust me, if you focus on the right things, you'll be the one who rises fast in those recruiting rankings when your opportunity hits. But here's where people get it twisted. It's not just about scoring, and you need to hear this. A lot of players think buckets are everything, but that's not what really defines you at the next level. Sometimes it's about controlling the entire game, making smart passes, locking in on defense, and impacting plays beyond just putting points on the board. Can you pick someone up full court as a guard or protect the paint as a big without just chasing blocks? Are you disciplined enough to know when to stay grounded and when to elevate? These little details, listen, this is what separates good from great. Can you score efficiently with fewer dribbles, move without the ball, communicate on defense? That's exactly what Tyrus Thomas is emphasizing and why these fundamentals are everything for real growth. And the crazy part is, this isn't just him. Other pros like Joe Alexander have been speaking on the same mindset. He's talked about the sacrifices it takes and what truly separates players with the same talent level. And listen, this might sound extreme, but you almost have to be obsessed, waking up every day driven to improve.